Deadpool is a hero who has never been shy about his romantic interests. His flirtatious advances add a nice little flair to his stories, and they're endearing AF. So today we are talking about the characters the Merc with the Mouth has knocked boots with our list of the top 10 superheroes Deadpool has hooked up with. Also, despite being a sexually fluid character, we never fully see Deadpool hook up with a dude in the comics. So all of the characters on this list identify as female. And hey, if we are wrong about that, please give us a shout in the comments below because we would love to know. So with that in mind, let's get to it. In at number 10, Black Widow. No, not that Black Widow. Well, actually, it might have technically been because at the time Natasha was Yelena in disguise. Regardless, we're talking about the second most prominent woman to hold that mantle, Yelena Belova. Belova, who first appeared in Inhumans issue 5 in 1999, would have a brief fling with the Merc with a Mouth when she was the leader of Norman Osborn's Thunderbolts team. Also, sort of a brief fling. Deadpool, who had pissed off Osborn pretty heavily at the time, was targeted by the team and in battle took out the other members of the Thunderbolts, no sweat, but found him struggling against Yelena. Impressed by her combat skills and her looks, he attempted to woo her, and slowly his charm grew on her, and it led to a surprising kiss. Deadpool was likening her to death, one of his biggest loves, more on that later, so he declared his love for Black Widow, and you can imagine how that worked out. In at number 9, Siren. Siren, aka Teresa Cassidy, is the daughter of Banshee, a name she would eventually use as her alias in honor of her late father. First introduced in 1981's Spider-Woman issue 37, she is a mutant with a few nifty tricks up her sleeve, which include her sonic scream, sound manipulation, flight, hypnosis, teleportation, and of course, immortality. That one definitely comes in handy. The two first met when they were on a mission to fight Black Tom Cassidy and Juggernaut. There was a sweet moment when she saw him without his mask and then reinforced his confidence, and then the two just hit it off from there. But unfortunately, they weren't endgame. Typhoid Mary would put a rift in their relationship when she disguised herself as Siren and then slept with Deadpool. To make matters worse, when Siren wanted to try to fix things, Copycat, another one of Deadpool's romantic interests that we'll be touching on later, disguised herself as Deadpool and then assaulted Siren. Things only got worse from there, with the two of them later having a one-night stand during a dark period in Siren's life, after her father died, with her then stating the romance was over for good. And at number 8, Orksa. Orksa is a character who first appeared in Deadpool Volume 2, issue 33 back in 2011. She's an alien who helps run Futsal Intergalactic Towing and Recovery, and has married a slew of characters in the past whose names she actually has tattooed on her arm. When Deadpool shows up at the Futsal station, having killed one of those husbands, she assaults him. So what does DP do? Well, he gives her a big ol' smooch, which calms her down, but she also believes that the kiss was a marriage proposal. She actually ends up helping save Wade during a mission, one in which another alien named Ob, who loves Orksa, is trying to kill him in, which then left Wade severely injured, with wounds that normally would have killed him if it wasn't for his healing factor. While he heals, Orksa and Ob fall in love, and because his wounds should have technically killed him, he's considered dead, which is the one requirement necessary to allow for a space divorce between him and Orksa to happen. So all in all, this alien lovin' did not last long. Moving on to a surprising number, in at number 7, the Wasp. Deadpool has hooked up with many people over the years, some of which are pretty darn shocking, like that he managed it. Perhaps one of the most shocking is the woman who named the Avengers herself, one of the founding members, Janet Van Dyne, aka the Wasp. Now to be fair, this went down during Deadpool's Secret Wars, in which he was revealed to have actually been present for Secret Wars. During this, his face had been healed by an extraterrestrial healer, and he was handsome as hell, managing to swoon Wasp, who at the time was the leader of the Avengers. As she puts it, while they lie in bed with one another, I quote, "Well, that was unexpected." Yeah, we feel you there. It's revealed at the end of Secret Wars that Deadpool's wish was that he had never been there, which explains his absence, although in reality it was due to him not having been created yet. And at 6, Satana Hellstrom. Satana Hellstrom, often referred to as just Satana, is the daughter of Satan, and the sister of Damon Hellstrom, who is often referred to as just Hellstrom. Oh, family ties. As a child, after the death of her mother, she was taken down into the depths of hell by her father to train her in her demonic powers. Deadpool crossed paths with the character during the Deadpool team-up series, in which, after losing her soul in a high-stakes poker game to a group of 4 geeks, she seeks out the Merc with a Mouth to help her out. Turns out those geeks are actually all demons in disguise who want to marry her and become the heir to hell. Deadpool comes up with what he deems a brilliant plan and marries her himself, binding her soul with his, giving him more strength to defeat each of the demon suitors. And the demon who won the poker game was like, "Well, sure, you've got a marriage certificate, but if you're dead, that certificate does not count anymore." So he tries to kill Deadpool, but thanks to that power boost, DP is the winner of the match. Unfortunately for our favorite anti-hero though, Satana bails on him and states that they're getting a divorce. And as a part of the divorce settlement, she gets to keep half of his soul. Ouch. All he really wanted was a honeymoon. In at 5, Rogue. Deadpool and Rogue. It's a thing that happened while the two were on the Avengers Unity team. Rogue was leading it at the time, and Deadpool essentially helped keep them afloat with his cash dollars while he was with them. The two eventually developed a mutual respect, but it wasn't until the team took down Red Skull that the two hooked up romantically. After kissing, Rogue had absorbed his skin, to which she replied to his shock by saying, I quote, "I don't care what I look like, Wade, except she said that more southern than I just did." The relationship didn't really go anywhere past that, especially after Wade ended up killing Phil Coulson under Captain America's orders. Well, Cap was all Hydra at the time, that is, so. Killing an ally usually puts a dent in romantic relationships, especially if it was a mutual ally and an uncalled for murder. Oh, what could have been? In at 4, Outlaw. Outlaw, aka Inez Temple, first debuted in Deadpool Volume 1, Issue 65 in 2002, created by Gail Simone. Her nickname is Crazy Inez, which helps paint a picture as to why her and Deadpool hit it off. They met after Deadpool made some major waves in the mercenary world by accomplishing an almost impossible mob hit. There was a lot of flirting between the two, but nothing actually went down, and Deadpool shortly afterwards was assumed to have been killed off. But then, Inez found herself hitting it off with Alex Hayden, aka Agent X, who many had believed at the time was actually Deadpool with amnesia. This was due to several similarities, from the body scars to the healing ability, and Alex had shown up on the scene shortly after Deadpool disappeared. Well, at least it looks like she's got a type. In at 3, Shiklah. Shiklah is a character who first debuted in Deadpool The Gauntlet Issue 3 in 2014, and was also married to the Merc with the Mouth, and also divorced him. She's a succubus, and long ago her and her family ruled over the monster world in a time that predated humans. Being opposed by the vampire race, her family struggled, forced to endure an age-long war with them. And after her brothers had been killed off, Shiklah's father sealed her in a coffin until it was safe, or until she got married. Weird. I mean, the safety thing I get, but getting married, I mean, girl can handle her own. Dracula hired Deadpool to bring her to him, but along the way, Deadpool traveled through Greece with the coffin and got into a fight with a minotaur, and the coffin was shattered, releasing an awakening Shiklah. She then tried to absorb his life force by kissing him, as a succubus does, but it had no effect on him due to his regenerative healing factor, and it was love at first sight. After some more shenanigans, she and Deadpool returned to New York and got married in Deadpool Volume 3, Issue 27. Flash forward till the Death Do Us Part storyline, when their marriage comes to a halt when Deadpool catches Shiklah cheating on him with Werewolf by Night. She eventually ditches him altogether, stating that their marriage was just to protect her from Dracula, and that he sides with humans too much. While that might seem harsh, they were super into each other once upon a time, but a lot of strain had been placed on that relationship. These days, she's actually hooked up with the ultimate undead character himself, Dracula, and the two are married. Her father must not be super into that, or turning, rolling, spinning in his grave, whatever that saying is. It's like exactly the thing he didn't want to happen. And at number 2, copycat Vanessa Carlyle. Vanessa Carlyle of the comics has a bit of a different story than her live action adaptation. For starters, she has powers. Copycat first hit the scene in 1993 as herself, but technically in 1991 when she was using her shapeshifting abilities to impersonate Domino. It was a whole thing. After being kicked out of her home at a young age, the young mutant shapeshifter went into prostitution, which is where she met Wade Wilson and fell in love with him. He broke up with her after finding out that he had cancer, which broke her heart. Flash forward a bit, in the New Mutants issue 98, she assumed the identity of Domino, and in 1993, Deadpool would reveal her actual identity to the X-Force team. This began an on and off again relationship. She would eventually be fatally injured and died, which was in his arms, telling him that she always loved him. Although without her knowledge, Wade had poured some of his own blood into her wounds, allowing her to mimic his power and heal herself. She would then go on to ruin Deadpool's other relationships after she was in tip-top shape and running her own chimichanga stand. Does she get to eat them for free if she owns it? That doesn't seem like a solid diet to have, but it would be nice to have the option to occasionally have one. And finally, in at number 1, Mistress Death. Okay, sure, Death, also known as Mistress Death or Lady Death, is not technically a superhero, but she is still a powerful cosmic entity, and that's something. That's more than something. She's also a character who Deadpool has had a very prominent romantic relationship with over the years. The appeal with Death is that the two of them are star-crossed lovers. He's a man who can never die, and she is the literal embodiment of death. Now, Wade has an interesting relationship with Death in general. He volunteered for the Weapon X program because he was dying of terminal cancer. Then, when he was experimented on and tortured, all he yearned for was death. Then, his powers, when manifested, prevented him from dying. So while all that was going on, he fell in love with her, being so close to her constantly but never able to touch her. Thanos would make this even more permanent when he cursed him with immortality. Now, despite their star-crossed reality, the two of them, when they do encounter one another, however briefly, have amazing chemistry. Plus, she has a sense of humor too, so. Alright, there we have it, friends. What characters would you love to see Deadpool hook up with? Give us a shout in those comments below and share your thoughts. Now, if you guys like this video, you know what to do. Spread that love, hit that thumbs up button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Nerd for more lists just like this one. We even have a nifty little playlist currently flashing somewhere on this screen. It's probably over there. but I kinda like the idea of going like, ugh. Anyway, thanks for watching, friends. I'll catch you all in the next video.